Hi, and welcome to another episode of Rob's Triathlon Tips for Beginners. This video is about what kind of bike you should use for your first triathlon and what kind of bike you might want to buy afterwards if you're hooked on triathlons. So, should you go out and buy a brand new bike for your first triathlon? Absolutely not. Uh, for your first triathlon, especially if you're doing a shorter distance, you can make do with whatever you have as long as it isn't electrically powered. So that means you could use your mountain bike, your gravel bike, or whatever road bike it is that you have, and that'll be absolutely fine. Some people kind of worry that they're going to be judged by other athletes, and that's absolutely not the case. We've all been there and done that and completely understand that hey, this is probably your first time, and we're actually thinking in the back of our minds like, cool, there's some more people getting into triathlon. So don't worry about judgment that you have your mountain bike in the transition area. The bike that I use today is the same one that I bought way back in 2010. It's a basic road bike, an entry level bike made by Specialized. It's called the LA. It was about $1,200 Canadian when I bought it, I believe. Here's a photo of what it looked like originally. There are many used bikes for sale as well. That could be a great value if you don't want to buy something new. But I would highly recommend going into a professional bike shop to get fitted for a bike to determine what the right size of bike frame is for you before you buy a used bike online. You could very easily make an assumption that's incorrect and then have a bike that's uncomfortable to ride that you need to sell again. So don't make that mistake. Um, if you enjoy your first triathlon and you used your mountain bike and you want to get a good bike to keep doing triathlons, I would get a road bike first. I would spend a little bit of money on getting a road bike that's lighter and has some higher quality shifting components, for example, and maybe buy a power meter or some sensors, rather than buying a triathlon specific bike. I've spent years upgrading my road bike by clamping on a bunch of stuff to make it more useful for triathlons, and I'll cover all of that in another video. But triathlon bikes come with built-in aero bars that you cannot take off, right? And that can actually be a problem for you if that's the only kind of bike that you have. Um, that that triathlon specific bike puts your body in a slightly different position for aerodynamic reasons than a road bike with aero bars clamped like attached to it that are removable. Um, One reason to not get a triathlon time trial bike right away is you may register for a race where triathlon bikes are not allowed because they're drafting legal races. So that means you can get really close to the wheel of somebody in front of you to save energy, to save time. And those bars are not allowed in races like that because you can imagine if you're tucked in and they slam on their brakes in front of you, you can't just grab your brakes because they're not here. They're on your bars over here. So you have to go like this to brake and you're going to slam right into them. So for safety reasons, those tri bars are not allowed. So if you show up to a race like that with your triathlon specific bike, they're going to turn you away. And I've seen that myself firsthand, registering for a couple local races in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, which is where I'm from. I've taken part in the ITU races that happen in Edmonton. I think 3 or 4 times I've done it. And every year I roll up there, it's a draft legal race, and I see people getting turned away and going home disappointed that they can't compete because they showed up with the wrong bike. Whereas the first year I came, I didn't know what draft legal meant. All I had to do was get my tools out and take my tri bars off of my handlebars on my road bike, and I was able to compete. Um, when you buy a new road bike, it may come with toe straps on the pedals that your feet slide into, and they look like this. You really want to remove those right away. They are far more dangerous than you think. If you lose your balance and you fall over sideways, it will be very hard to get your foot out in time to prevent yourself from just slamming yourself on the hip and having a brutal injury that may take a month or more to get over with physiotherapy. You will more than likely also not be allowed to race with those on your pedals. I've been to some races where they've told people to take those off, and they've sent them over to the bike mechanic and they've used the screwdriver and taken them off. So they were able to pedal with just a regular flat pedal that they weren't clipped into, but those toe straps were not allowed because they're dangerous. With clip-in pedals, you learn over time how to twist your foot if you're losing your balance to get your shoe out and then brace yourself if you're going to fall over. It just becomes kind of second nature. It's much safer than those toe straps. Um, I hope this video was helpful, and if it was, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel and share this video with people that may also benefit from it. Thanks.